Perth racing hots up this Saturday with the first of 3 Group 1 races being ran across the next 3 weeks, all part of the Ascot Racing Carnival. This Saturday's Railway Stakes ran over the mile is a field of 16 with 4 emergencies. Stay tuned for my preview of the 2017 James Boag's Premium Railway Stakes right here on Bevo B5 Productions. Hello racing fans, welcome to my preview of the 2017 James Boag's Premium Railway Stakes. In this preview I'll go through the chances in some depth, the whole field and odds, the speed map, my tips and my roughie. So let's get straight into it. Black Heart Bart came third in the Group 1 Jacob Bevis Stakes over 1600 metres at Flemington and fifth in the Group 1 Underwood Stakes over 1800 metres at Caulfield before a 55-day break. Has never won over the 1600 metres but has placed 3 times out of 4 over the trip. Is a 5-time Group 1 winner. Scales of Justice came second in the Group 2 Bobby Lewis over 1200 metres at Flemington and 7th in the Group 1 Rupert Clark Stakes over 1400 metres at Caulfield before a 41-day break. Came third in the Group 2 Lee Steery Stakes over 1400 metres at Ascot last start. Is undefeated over the 1600 metre trip out of 3 attempts and has a very good record at this track. Won this race last year. No horse has gone back-to-back in the Railway Stakes since Tutor Man in 1967. Tom Melbourne has come second 5 times in its last 6 races, which is just incredible. This includes second in the Group 1 Epsom at Randwick and in the Group 1 Kennedy Mile at Flemington, both over the 1600 metres. Damien Oliver comes on. Supply and Demand is a Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott trained horse that has come second in its last 2 starts over the 1400 metres, including the Group 3 Chatham Stakes at Flemington last start. Has won 1 and placed in 2 out of 4 attempts over the 1600 metres. Has won 2 from 3 third-up starts, is coming out of barrier 19. Ullman came 4th in the Chatham Stakes last start, has ran 3 times over 1600 metres and has won 1 and placed in 2. Great Shot came 2nd last start in the Lee Steery Stakes, beating Scales of Justice. Has won 2 and came 3rd in 1 out of 3 attempts over the 1600 metre trip. Is undefeated at Ascot over the distance out of 1 attempt. Silverstream has won its last 2 races, both over 1400 metres, and beat home Great Shot and Scales of Justice last start in the Lee Steery Stakes. Top 3 finishes in its last 6 starts, but has never won over the 1600 metres out of 2 attempts. All Our Roads is a Chris Waller trained horse that came 4th last start in the Kennedy Mile, has won twice and second 4 times over the mile out of 9 attempts. Craig Williams comes on. Cosmic Storm is undefeated over the 1600 metres out of 4 starts, beaten by Silver Steam, Great Shot and Tradesman, but came 4th 2 starts ago in the Group 3 Northerly Stakes and 6th last start, both over 1400 metres at Ascot. Material Man is also undefeated over the 1600 metres out of 4 starts, won the listed Northern Cup over 1600 metres 2 starts ago, and then 4th last start in the Group 3 RJ Peters over 1500 metres at Ascot, beaten by Royal Start and Variation. Sovereign Nation has had 3 starts so far this prep, 4th in the Rupert Clark, 2nd in the Group 1 Turek Handicap over the mile at Caulfield, and 7th in the Kennedy Mile on Derby Day. Only won once over the mile out of 6 attempts. Variation has had 7 wins and 8 placings out of 16 starts. Very impressive. Is undefeated over the 1600 metres out of 3 attempts. Time now to have a look at the full field and odds for the 2017 Group 1 James Boag's Premium Railway Stakes over the mile, of course being ran this Saturday the 25th of November at 5 p.m. local time, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Of course, you can watch all the action from Ascot on Sky Racing, Thoroughbred Central, and also Sky Racing 1. As I record this, Tom Melbourne is the current favourite at $6.50. It's very close in the odds though. Black Heart Bart, Scales of Justice, both on $7. Variation is at $10. Supply and Demand, of course, Skye Waterhouse, Adrian Bott trained horse, is backed at $11. Ullman at $13. Sovereign Nation at $16. Silverstream and All Our Roads at $17. Pownamoo is at $18. We then have Material Man at $23. Royal Star is at $26, as well as Gatting. Cosmic Storm is at $31. Great Shot at $31. We also have Observational at $51. Tradesman and Emergency at $71. Disposition at $81. And then at $251 we have Bollywood Blitz, and at $501 we have Tonka Tough. Time now to have a look at the speed map for the Railway Stakes. Great Shot is predicted to take up the lead early, as well as Scales of Justice. Of course, you can see on the outside there in the wide barrier is Supply and Demand. It'll be no surprise to see that horse up the front early, as well as Tom Melbourne from Barrier 1 looks likely to be up there with the front runners early as well. Of course, that's the normal tactic from Tom Melbourne. So that is the speed map for the Railway Stakes. Time now for my tip. I'm putting Scales of Justice on top. I like the record that this horse has at not only the 1600 metres but also at this track. It is a Perth horse, and I think now that it's back at home after coming to Melbourne for a couple of races, including the Group 1 Rupert Clark, being back at home, I think it's the one to beat, and that's why I'm putting Scales of Justice on top. Of course, isn't in its great form as last year, but its preparation and its lead up to this race last year was different to its preparation to this year's race. So I'm putting Scales of Justice on top. I've put Variation on second. I think this horse has a great record with 7 wins and 8 placings out of 16 starts. I think that's very impressive. It's only missed the top 3 once out of its 16 starts. That is quite impressive indeed. So I think this horse will run in the top 2. I think it will come second. And of course, it's also undefeated over the 1600 metres. Of course, there's a lot of horses who are undefeated over the 1600 metres in this race. I've then put Black Heart Bart in third. 5-time Group 1 winner, should make the trifecta and should be up there. And wouldn't be surprised if it wins the race, but I'm going to put it in third. And then fourth is Supply and Demand. I liked this horse's run on Oaks Day. I've loved its form, and so I'm putting this horse in fourth. The only query is Barrier 19, but it should be able to overcome that and slot inside the top 4. And my roughie for the Railway Stakes is Material Man. I like this horse's form over the 1600 metres. It's undefeated out of 4 starts. I think that's very impressive. It's at about $23, and it of course won the listed Northern Cup over the 1600 metres 2 starts ago. Was fourth in its last start, but I think this horse has great form over the 1600 metres, and I think this horse is a roughie to get on. If you want to back a roughie in this race, I think this one is the one. There is a lot of roughies in this race that I think is a chance, but this one is the one for me, the roughie for me. So yeah, Material Man is my roughie of the Railway Stakes. And looking at the rest of the race day card for Railway Stakes Day, and it's a cracking day. There's a few listed races. Of course, the Group 2 Sky Racing WA Guineas is taking place over the mile, and yeah, it's going to be a great day of racing wherever you may be watching from. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this particular race day. Of course, there is some cracking other race meetings to come over the next couple of weeks from Ascot. Of course, we have a Group 1 race next week and the week after in Perth as well. So the Ascot Racing Carnival well underway now. It's hotting up with these Group 1s, and the Railway Stakes Day race card is an absolute cracker. And that is it for my preview of the 2017 James Boag's Premium Railway Stakes. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, don't forget to like, comment and share this video. Subscribe to keep up to date with all my other content. I'll be back next week with another horse racing preview, the Winterbottom Stakes, which is, of course, another Perth Group 1 race. And until then, I'm Bev. Hope you back a winner. Bye for now.